My name is Paul Barry and welcome to a one-take video for Transformation Advisor. Today we're going to take a look at the results you see when you come into Transformation Advisor and all the different ways that you can cut and look at the results and organize them and what the values actually mean. Okay, I'm going to jump straight in and take a look at some data that I've already uploaded. The first place I'm going to start is right here at the top where we have workspace estimated total cost. Now, very important about the total cost. This represents the total development effort. So that means the effort spent to change source code to modernize your applications, in this case, currently running on WebSphere ND to WebSphere Liberty. This does not include the cost to do configuration, setting up your environments, testing. So this is purely the development effort cost that we're talking about. So what you can see here is the total cost for all of the applications in the estate are 47 days, and that's split between 31 and a half days on common code, 16 days on unique app code. We do lots of rounding in the Transformation Advisor UI, so that's why we don't have a 0.5 on the end of our total cost. So what you can do over here with your targets is you can pick different targets. So here we're obviously looking at modernizing to WebSphere Liberty. What if we wanted to modernize to Open Liberty? We can see that's some more additional effort, 58 days in this case, and that's because WebSphere Liberty has some heritage APIs, so we support things coming from WebSphere ND that Open Liberty doesn't support, and we also have there's also different EE specifications supported, so moving to Open Liberty may require you to make some changes to move up to at least EE7. What you could also do is say, what if I went to WebSphere Traditional, which is TWAS based in containers? And what you might see here is this is 0 days. So you might immediately think, well, isn't the obvious option for me to move to TWAS based in containers? We provide TWAS based containers as a stepping stone to full modernization because it will allow you to move into containers, but not move to a lightweight flexible runtime. Over here in your migration targets, if you click your little eye, you'll get your pop-up giving you information about the targets. So some things to see straight away. Take a look at your Java levels. So, WebSphere Liberty and Open Liberty, much better Java levels, much better Spring and Spring Boot support. Then when you pull down and look at the different capabilities, what you want to see is as many green ticks as possible. So if you want to be much more cloud native, if you want that agility, low footprint, fast startup times, all those kind of things that we associate with moving to containers and moving to the cloud, then really you're going to want to move to some flavor of Liberty. So I'm going to jump back here and we're going to return to what we default to, which is WebSphere Liberty. And the reason we default to that is that's going to be the cheapest path for you in terms of development effort while still getting you into a lightweight runtime. So if we look in our estate, what we have here is our list of applications, and we've different information about them. We've our application name, the runtime target we're going to, the collection information. So that's where we're going to be. Where did you actually collect that information from, and the profile that it's come from. What you also have here is complexity, and we have three types of complexity: simple, moderate, complex. So at a very high level, simple means you do not need to make code changes to move to your new runtime target, in this case, WebSphere Liberty. Moderate means you do need to make code changes, which means you need access to the source code, but those changes are well known. So it's a low risk activity. Competent Java developers will be able to do that work. Complex applications means that it includes at least some technologies that do not have an equivalent, a direct equivalent in Liberty, and therefore you need to make some decisions around how you're going to manage them and what you want to replace that original technology with. So that's the three definitions. Then, you have your application costs in days, and your application cost in days, again, is development effort. And that's broken down into different sets of issues that you're going to have. I'm going to immediately point out one thing. If I just order this by application days, and you're going to see that we've got 16 and 14, so that's what, 30, 45, 55, 60, 67, what's that, 80, 90. So we're already up to 90 days if I was to add them straight. And you'll see here, though, our total is only 47 days, and I've only added the first page. And the reason for this is that the values seen here are for each application if you modernize that application independently. If instead you take into account the common code element, which really means that when you modernize an application, some of the jars in that application are going to be used also by other applications. And we do that check by comparing name and checksum, so we know for sure it's the exact same jar. Once you do that, you'll see that the code is reused. With our enterprise customers, we expect about 70% reuse, and your actual cost when you tackle your whole estate in one go are the numbers up here. Just a note there as well as we are going to have filtering in here. So for example, if I type, I'm going to get a match, and I can filter on any values that I see here. So for example, in this particular case, you can see this comes from app DMGR. So I could also do app DMGR, and we'll get our only app DMGR. If I go back to my think one, we can see that it comes from app cluster. So what if I typed app cluster? I'm only going to see the things in app cluster. So if we go back to think, you can now click into this application, and we're going to give you all information about this application. It's moderate because you've got to update code. In this case, there's one issue to be modernized. We click into it. You see exactly where this issue is going to occur. You can see the class, you can see the line number. And if you open up your analysis report, you can show the rule help. And in here, you can see exactly what you need to do to resolve this issue so your application can be modernized to run on Liberty. So if I just jump back to my data here, one of the other things that we do during the analysis is we automatically detect if your applications are running in WebSphere ND clusters, and they appear over here on our left-hand side. You don't have to do anything to get this, it comes automatically. And that means then this allows you to navigate your applications by cluster. So here, for example, I can go into App Dynamic Cluster. Let's take a look at this. And we can see here there are two applications in this dynamic cluster. And it means that these at the moment are deployed together, which allows you to make some decisions. Do you want to continue to deploy them together because they have to be deployed together, or it makes sense for the deployment together, perhaps for performance reasons, or do you want to break them up and deploy them in different ways? The other thing that you can do, if we go back to our data for a second, is that you can create your own groups. So imagine here, for example, ACME is a particular business application, or I want to examine it in its own right. I can pick them all. I can say add it to a group. We're going to call this ACME. I'm going to click add group. That's going to pop up. So what I have now is my group of applications. But what you can also see is I can consider this group like it would have worked your whole estate. So you can see if I was to just tackle these, it's mainly filtered at unique code. I'm going to spend 7.5 days doing it. And again, I can interact with it in the same way that I did before.